All right, welcome back. Another episode of the Empty Gym Podcast. Special one today. We got good friend Collin Roach back. We missed him for a couple episodes, but he's back tonight. We also have a guest. First time we've had a guest join the full panel. Jackson Swanson here on the podcast tonight. Big sports guy. Big Central Illinois guy. So happy to have you on, Jackson.
Yeah, I'm excited to show these guys how to draft. Thought there were some misses on the first couple that I want to have a good showing here.
Jackson bringing up that we are drafting tonight. We'll be drafting the best big threes in sports across all sports throughout history too, not just current, throughout history. But first off, we're going to start talking about something that's going to start in like an hour and a half. Will be over by the time this podcast gets uploaded, but we're going to talk about the Home Run Derby. So 2023 Home Run Derby, we're in Seattle for the All-Star Week this week. 8 guys, Luis Robert Jr. versus Adley Rutschman. Pete Alonso versus Julio Rodriguez, Mookie Betts versus Vlad Jr., and Adolis Garcia versus Randy Arozarena are the first-round matchups. Home Run Derby is always fun to watch, a lot of fun. Growing up as a kid, watching that on Monday night of the All-Star Week should be fun again this year.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. My whole entire thought process for this Home Run Derby ever since the players who were competing in it came out, I was going to pick Luis Robert Jr. and then as my pander pick, I was going to go Adley Rutschman. And then about 35 minutes ago, I found out they were playing each other in the first round. So all that kind of is down the drain, unfortunately. But like you said, I'm always excited for it. It should be a fun one.
Yeah, I personally find more enjoyment in the Derby than the actual All-Star game usually. I just think it's a little bit more exciting, but I got my money on Pete Alonso.
Yeah, Pete Alonso's the favorite. I like Luis Robert, like Adam said, and then also as my pander, I like Julio Rodriguez just because I think he's a sick player. So I want to see him win.
Yeah, I don't have a pick yet. Have some time to put one in. Might go Adley Rutschman. Big Orioles guy.
He's got the longest odds. He's plus 1,700. So.
He only has 10 bombs this year.
Well, I love that pick then now. I think I'm actually going to take it right now. Love a good underdog story. Second-year guy out of Baltimore. But yeah, Home Run Derby. Is there any new rules this year? I feel like they have some tweaks every year or something like that. But
there probably is. I think the best value I'm looking at right now is Julio Rodriguez over Pete Alonso in the first round. I just feel like Pete's been here, but he's had his turn. And like you said, Julio rakes, but Pete's been hurt for the last 3-4 weeks, hasn't he? And he just came back recently.
Plus, you got Julio Rodriguez, home ballpark too.
Very true.
Good point. Yep. Not going to pretend like I know Pete Alonso's injury status, but
I'm pretty sure he was injured. Now, don't quote me on that. This is not a baseball podcast, but I do also know that Pete Alonso just lives and breathes the Home Run Derby. So this pick could backfire on me so hard. And with this Home Run Derby being in an hour and a half, we could either look like very smart, educated baseball fans or just complete idiots.
Yeah. You guys missed it. I will go back to Adam saying we're not a baseball podcast. Really enjoyed the discussion we had 2 podcasts ago where we went through one team each division and saw if they were good or bad and tested that on Adam, which he did pretty good on. But yeah, we're not the biggest baseball podcast, but we sort of know what's going on. Also, is Collin frozen for all you guys too?
He is not.
Oh, he is for me.
This is a low budget show.
Yeah, yeah. Low
Jack,
budget.
I'm here.
All right, you haven't moved on my screen in about 2 minutes, but hopefully that changes soon. But back to the Derby. Yeah, I like Roach said a little bit. I like the Derby more than the All-Star game. At this point, growing up, I like the All-Star game better, but now the All-Star game's like even more of a joke. I feel like than it was growing up. For whatever reason, who knows? I feel like all the All-Star games aren't really anything anymore. So the home run derby, I think it's even more fun than like when you look at like the NBA, like the 3-point shootout and the dunk contest. I mean, like the dunk contest used to be cool, but not so much anymore. I feel like, but the home run derby always is cool every year, so I'm excited for it. But yeah, any final thoughts on the home run derby tonight?
Yeah, one new thing they added I saw was did you see they changed the prize? Well, I don't know if they like got rid of the old stuff, but they added this huge chain to the winner.
Oh,
Like this big old like it's got the Seattle Mariners logo on it. And it's like this big on your chest.
all right.
Seriously?
I'm taking
Yeah, it looks
Julio
pretty
Rodriguez then.
Yeah.
It seems like a conflict of interest if it's the Seattle Mariners logo and like someone who is now the Mariners wins it.
Yeah,
What
I
are they
can
gonna
also
do?
see Luis Robert balling out tonight just to get another chain. He's big chain.
Did you guys see his bat that he tweeted out?
Is bat? No.
Yeah, like the bat he's using, it's got like a wolf on it. It looks pretty cool.
Sweet.
Julio did?
Luis Robert.
Oh. Mookie Betts is a sleeper too.
Yeah, he's
I
also
don't think he wins. I don't think he beats Vladdy first round.
Mookie Betts has hit so many home runs this year. Okay, here's my other point. This is my other thing that frustrates me. It's the same thing with like the dunk contest. I don't understand why the best, like not all of the best hitters go into the like they hit the most home runs go into the MLB draft. Same with like the NBA like dunk contest. Like there's no reason why Zion shouldn't be in the dunk contest. Stuff like that. Like why? Like don't get me wrong. I know Adley Rutschman hits a lot of home runs, but why is he in the home run derby if he's I think he's hit like 11 home runs.
It's a great question that I don't think we'll ever know the answer to.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of people have said like it messes up their swing a little bit. I feel like a lot of people in the past, I remember, have said like trying to get so much lift on the ball for that many swings in a row, like kind of messed up their swing going into the second half of the year. So that could be part of it. But also, I don't know. I feel like guys who are not in the All-Star game too, just like want to take the vacation and don't really want to go just for the home run derby. So that could play a part in it too. But I don't know. It's still fun to watch, I feel like. But also like going back to that Mookie Betts versus Vladdy, I feel like Vladdy is kind of built for this though. I'm excited to see Vladdy just try to like I feel like it could go really well for him or really poorly. Like he could just pop up a bunch or he could just hit some fucking nukes tonight. That would be pretty sick. But I don't know. You guys got anything more on the Derby?
That was talking Derby.
Talking baseball, talking Derby. Next we'll go to a story, probably the biggest story in collegiate athletics right now with the whole scandal going on at Northwestern. Not going to get too much into the details. If you want to know about the details, they're in the Daily Northwestern. Wrote a really good article about it. Northwestern's student paper or school paper or whatever you call it. Actually did some good reporting on it. So a lot of bad details in there. More so, we're going to talk about like the implications this has on Pat Fitzgerald and what that means for Northwestern going forward, and especially for this happening in middle July. You don't really like if something does happen, which I think it could be a lot bigger than just Pat Fitzgerald. This could end up turning into a real dumpster fire for Northwestern, honestly.
Yeah, I don't really have too much on this topic. I haven't read into it that much. I've just kind of read a couple tweets here and there, so I don't feel as educated as most to format a whole concept on this.
Pat Fitzgerald seems like he would be a great upperclassman in a fraternity hazing the younger ones. That's what I get from it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not good by any means. That's an interesting take on it, I guess, but definitely not good by any means. Very interesting to see how
I
this
thought
all.
that was a smart analogy. I feel like though what I've read, a majority of it is that he just made him run a ton.
They were called runs. They didn't actually really run. It was other things going on.
Are we not going to get into detail?
I don't really want to get into detail too much. It's if you want to read the Daily Northwestern article, you can do that. But it's very not good.
Yeah, I'm also not very like up to date on it, but like have they came down with anything on him, like any
So
suspensions or anything?
so he got when some stuff first initially came out. It was not. This was before the Daily Northwestern article, and some stuff came out that like the fact that there was hazing happening came out. What it was and what all transpired did not, and he was given a 2-week suspension with no pay starting right now, which basically means like this is a dead period for both recruiting and for practice time. So basically, his 2-week vacation, he's just not getting paid instead of usually getting paid. And then the Daily Northwestern article dropped, kind of talking about what actually was going on, and that there was evidence that evidence that Pat Fitzgerald knew what was going on, and two, evidence that they had like a 6-month investigation that was paid for by Northwestern, or that Northwestern paid lawyers to do, that reportedly found nothing. And then other people came in and did an investigation and said, yeah, that was all wrong. And Northwestern knew what was going on and still didn't do anything. So that's the real problem right now, is that it's starting to look like they were trying to cover it up, which never works out well for programs when this kind of stuff happens. So that's the biggest thing going on right now, is that it's looking like Northwestern knew what was going on. Pat Fitzgerald knew what was going on. And instead of, it also looks really bad for Northwestern because they knew that Pat Fitzgerald knew what was going on and decided to give him a 2-week no pay suspension instead of what is very likely a fireable offense. So that's kind of the whole deal going on now. So that, I mean, it's probably Big Ten Media Days are in 2 weeks, I think, maybe next week, something like that. But if he's still around by then, one, I'd be surprised. Two, the questions that he's going to get asked that day are going to be nothing about football at all. So that could be a tough scene for Pat Fitzgerald there. We can move on from this if you guys want. If you guys have any last thoughts, go ahead. But
I don't have anything. No.
I was just gonna ask, so you see that he's probably, your opinion is he's gonna be fired or suspended for games, or?
I think he's fired, honestly. If he's suspended, I think it's minimum a season. Like the stuff in there is very bad. It's bad if he didn't know about it. It's really bad if he did know about it, and it's really, really bad if Northwestern knew that he knew about it and still didn't really do anything about it. So there's just a lot going on, a lot of factors that play into this. But if I had to, we are our gambling podcast a little bit on here. If I had to place money on it, I'd bet a lot that Pat Fitzgerald will not be the coach by the start of the season, but I'd also bet a decent amount that he will not even be fielding questions at media day in 2 weeks.
This probably, if he leaves Northwestern, he's not coaching anywhere else either, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, he'll come back sometime. I mean,
You think so?
I mean, Rick Pitino's back. What's his name? That just got hired by Nebraska, or not Nebraska. By Ole Miss, the basketball coach. Was that Texas? Why can I not?
Chris Beard.
Chris Beard, yeah,
But
Chris
Freeze
Beard.
also still getting jobs.
Yeah, Chris Beard's back. Hugh Freeze is getting jobs. There's been
like college sports that you give it 2-3 years that forgive and forget.
Wasn't there like the Rutgers basketball coach or something?
Yeah, he that was, I think it was it the Rutgers women or was it the Rutgers men? I can't remember. I think it was the men.
Women's coach.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah.
He was like throwing balls at players.
Yeah, that wasn't very good either.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like in college, a lot of times this ends up being just kind of like, if I had to bet, I guess in 2 years, Pat Fitzgerald is an offensive analyst for Nick Saban at Alabama.
Wow.
And then eventually works his way back up to getting a OC or DC job, and then back in or works for Belichick. That's another guy where it's like, it's kind of like the running joke of like the Nick Saban or Bill Belichick like rehab facility for like all these coaches that either underperformed and got fired, or had some kind of allegations or sanctions or some type of situation happen to them, and then they end up going to being an analyst. I mean, it happened with Brett Bielema for much different reasons, for just not being good at Arkansas instead of hazing allegations. But he ended up coaching, being a defensive analyst for Belichick with the Patriots for 2 years, and then got a job with the Giants, and then got the Illinois job. So it happens a lot more in college sports, probably than it should. I'm all for giving people second chances, but there are some things that are not very good. But honestly, this has been looked at potentially as being like a criminal offense, with like sexual harassment and stuff like that. So this one could get kind of ugly. Let's see what transpires. But yeah, that's Northwestern. Any final thoughts on that?
No.
All right. Oh, well, never mind. 2 minutes ago, from Pete Thamel, a big college football writer for ESPN, Pat Fitzgerald has been fired.
So you're right.
So, yeah. So Pat Fitzgerald's fired. That's a good thing I looked at my phone real quick before we switched to a different topic. So thoughts on Pat Fitzgerald being fired?
Yeah, it's tough for him. I think that's probably like his dream coaching job is coaching there because of.
I mean, he turned down
there.
He turned down NFL jobs and like other big college football jobs to stay at Northwestern. So yeah, I mean, like he played at Northwestern. He was on the '95 Rose Bowl team coached by legendary Randy Walker. So it's his alma mater. Been coaching there. He's the only coach I can ever remember at Northwestern since I've been growing up. Yeah, he's been there forever. I think he got a little cup of coffee in the NFL or something, then pretty much immediately came back. Started out as a position coach, then became the DC, then became the head coach. So he's been around at Northwestern forever. So this is definitely crazy to see.
I agree.
So yeah, Northwestern now in almost mid-July, I assume they will not be hitting the coaching carousel. This seems like the kind of point where it's just going to be some interim, and then next year find a coach. But this situation escalated quickly within just the time that we started talking about it, like 10 minutes ago. So, but yeah, Pat Fitzgerald is fired. So any last thoughts on Pat Fitzgerald in Northwestern?
That's probably the right thing to do.
I think it is, yeah.
I don't think you can, go around it any other way. I think that's the right decision that should be made and was ultimately made.
I agree.
All right. Moving on. Let's talk a little soccer actually. Or no, let's talk Wemby first. Let's talk Wemby first and then soccer. Wemby with the Spurs, game 1, what was he, 2 for 13? 9 points, like 6
He
or
had
7.
9 points, 8 boards, and 5 blocks.
Yeah, he did have 5 blocks, but I think he was 2 for 13, right?
Something like that. And
tough. Go ahead.
I know when we, Jack and I, we previewed did an evaluation of the NBA draft, and I said that I'm not going to say I'm a genius by any means, but I did say that when Wemby has a somewhat of a low performing game, that the media was just going to erupt and just make a huge stink out of it, and that's exactly what happened. They're like, oh, he only had 9 points. He was 2 for 13, 2 for 14 field goals. And one more thing on Wembenyama. It's his first couple weeks in the country, and I think he's starting to deal with just learning about the American media, especially the sports media. You don't go out and say after your first summer league game and like I didn't really know what I was doing. I think he'll learn from that, but that's just like an ultimate no, I guess.
Yeah, you can't say that, especially in the NBA media, because they'll eat you alive. But yeah, I mean, tough game for him. Played a lot better last night, but now they're shutting him down too. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he won't be playing the rest of summer league.
Yeah, last night he had 27, 12, and 3 blocks. So a good showing from him.
I think he takes really bad shots.
I think part of it's just like the hype around him. I feel like he put way too much. Like, I'm not the biggest Wemby fan. Like, I don't know. I'm the kind of guy where if you talk a lot about a guy who's not on my team, I start to not like him a little bit. Like, if he was a Bull, I would be all in. Like, I think this guy might be better than Jordan, and I'd be willing to accept that. But he's a Spur, so I'm kind of like I don't dislike him, but I'm not like the biggest fan of him. But at the same time, like, I feel like he had so much hype around him, he had so much pressure that he was like, I have to do insane this game, and I feel like he looked just a little tight. Like, everything looked like he just wasn't really comfortable that much. So I don't know. And then he played great the second game. Also, it's summer league. Like, who really cares? But Jackson, anything on Wemby?
Yeah, I thought that maybe like the most impressive thing was when he got switched onto guards. He'd be giving you like 3 or 4 steps, and then you go to try to shoot a 3-pointer, and he just reaches up and blocks it from like so far away. When you think like any other player, you have so much space to shoot. I think that's going to be something that he like really can like take over defensively because how like overpowered it is having him switch onto a guard.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting with Popovich because that is like the most like traditional coach in the NBA that is like more nitty gritty, play defense type NBA coach, and like there's obviously not many of those. And I feel like his play style is just kind of like let me do my thing. I'm 7'4" or whatever he is, and just let me kind of shoot my shots. And like when the Spurs were so good, it was like they were running like a flex offense with Duncan, Parker, and Manu, and it was like looked like a college, like a high school or college team. And now it's like that you just kind of have your Michael Jordan on your team. And it's just kind of like give him the ball and see what he's going to do.
Yeah, speaking of Popovich, he actually just got a 5-year, $80 million deal to re-sign. I think that makes him the highest paid coach in the NBA at, I think it was like $16 million a year. If my math is correct, probably not. Saw it on ESPN about 20 minutes ago. But I think for Wemby, if him going into the league, Popovich is probably, he's, top 3 coach in the NBA still, and he's probably a top 3 guy who can, if you're Wemby, you want coaching you.
Yeah, I think he's going to be great for developing. Pop is going to be great for the development of Wemby. I mean, he developed, like, he obviously is not the sole person in this development, but he turned another number 1 pick in Tim Duncan into a 5-time champion and one of the best, if not the best, power forwards of all time.
The best.
Probably the best. David Robinson.
Kind of the same.
A little bit, yeah. David Robinson became one of the best centers in the league as well under Pop. So, I mean, he's a guy that I think is going to be huge for that. They do talk all the time about on the TV broadcast. This could just be Doris Burke and Mark Jones riding him a little bit, but they do talk all the time about like his unselfishness and stuff like that. So if that's actually real, then I feel like he could work out with the Spurs. I feel like he could play kind of that Tim Duncan role a little bit, being like the focal point if they can get some good guards around him. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, any other Wemby / Summer League notes?
Well, it was also I get he doesn't play like a center, but he's 7'4". It's what the Spurs needed too. They have some decent young guys like Trey Jones. Who's the dude with the colorful hair? Sohan. Jeremy Sohan. Like they have some decent young guys.
Yeah, and I think the thing Jackson said too about his ability to defend guards, like he can play at the top of the key, and within a step he can honestly kind of play like right between the top of the key and the free throw line, and within one step he can block a shot from the 3-point line, or he could block a layup. Like that's just how long he is and how quick he is too. Like for being that height. So like him on the defensive end, I think is the biggest thing. He has to put on weight. Like that's not a question at all. I mean, I saw a couple times. Chris Murray took the ball. I remember that vividly. I think it happened a couple other times last night. But like, I remember Chris Murray just like ripping the ball out of his hands, which like it happens. Like it's gonna happen. But that's just one thing. Like he's got to put on some weight. Got to get some strength up. But it was the same thing with like I'm not relating the two, but same thing with Giannis. You kind of taken like this guy who he is more talented than a lot of these like athletic flyers that I feel like some guys take, and like these raw athletic guys that teams take and try to develop. I think he's a little bit more skilled than that. But I think there is a part of him that's still raw and still got to like hone in some of those skills. He's got pretty good footwork, got a good jumper. So he's like higher advanced than that. Like he doesn't need to hone in skills as much as some guys do, but still plays a part in the development as well. But I think the putting on some strength and being able to defend bigs in the league is going to be huge for him.
Yeah, I think his offense has a long way to come, and he can obviously work on it during the NBA. But his defense, day one, I think he's going to step on and be like one of the most elite defenders. How versatile he is.
Yeah, I think he can. I think he definitely can be one of the best. Like I said, I think he needs to put on a little bit more weight to be able to. I think he's awesome in being able to switch on the guards, which like is a huge thing with bigs. I think he can get a little better, and that will, like I said, that will come with strength. But even then, like if he gets knocked off by a big and bounce, like if a 6'10", like 280 or something big is trying to bang with him in the post or something and bounces him off like by a foot or two, he's so tall and long that he can still affect that shot even if he gets like separate, even if the offensive big gets separation in some sense. So
Yeah, there's a play on his EuroLeague highlight tape where I was watching, and it was this white guy puts this awesome move, buries him under the rim, and then like pivots, rotates, and tries to shoot a hook over the front of the rim. And Wembenyama goes out and blocks it, and I watched it again, rewind, and it was Alec Peters from Washington.
There you go. Yeah, any last summer league thoughts? I thought one that me and Adam talked about was last week or the week before when we were doing the draft. Cam Whitmore, even like I said, I know it's summer league, but he is looking like a huge steal at 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And Jack, we kind of have not necessarily put our reputation on this guy here, but we did speak very highly of him. Scoot Henderson, he is out for the summer league with a shoulder injury, so could backfire on us. I don't think it will.
Summer league.
We're big Scoot guys over here at the Empty Gym podcast. I just have a couple more things to say. The Bulls summer league, we're 1-1. We see red on this podcast. We have a guy named Iago dos Santos, and he balls. He's very good. We also have Javon Freeman Liberty, scored 24 points against Memphis. Very notorious for taking the L to Bradley in the NBC championship. So shout out the Braves there.
Another top prospect for the summer league, I saw Brandon Miller, his foul trouble. In the summer league, I guess you get 10 fouls for some reason, so you get more tick, I guess. But 15 fouls in 2 games, is that what it was?
I saw he had 8 fouls one game, and I thought it was like a joke. Like I thought it was just like a
joke stat, like a butt crack sports on Twitter or something. But 15 fouls in 2 games is impressive.
I'm pretty sure that's who tweeted it too, and I thought it was like this is a joke. But I don't know what the point of 10 fouls is. I mean, okay, I guess it's all it's just for views.
Yeah,
it's just the top picks on the screen and let him go.
It's just summer league. They want to have him play as much as possible. Like they don't. The goal is to not have anyone foul out in summer league, or like not be able to play because of foul trouble in summer league. And still, I remember. I think it was 2 years ago. Someone fouled out in summer league. I can't remember who it was, but I remember someone a couple years ago got all 10 fouls in summer league. So
that's impressive. Has
happened before, but maybe Brandon Miller will get there. We still got another week or so of it, but yeah. Any final thoughts on summer league?
No.
All right. Before we draft, let's talk a little soccer. Not much, but a little bit, because I don't know too much. But boys won the Gold Cup quarterfinal last night in PKs.
Yes, we did. The Stars and Stripes are back. Like you said, we beat Canada in PKs 3-2. It's kind of a wild game if you got a chance to watch. The U.S. scored. It was 0-0. U.S. scored in like the 86th, 87th minute. And then in extra time, we gave a PK to Canada. So they tied it, went to extra time. And then both teams ended up scoring in extra time. I believe the U.S. was an own goal by Canada. So thanks, Canada, for that one. And then Matt Turner, U.S. goalkeeper, clutched up in PKs. So now the question is, so the U.S. plays Jamaica next.
Panama.
So what's that?
Panama, I think.
You're right. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, we have a chance to play. We have a chance to play Mexico in the final of the Gold Cup. So the question is, do we bring all of our studs back? Because all of our studs are not playing right now. We don't have Pulisic playing. We don't have like Weston McKennie playing. Yunus Musa. All those guys are not playing. And U.S. Mexico has become like a bigger thing now that the U.S. is actually winning. So we beat them 2-0 and then 3-0 recently. So I think we bring all the studs back. We go for 4-0 against Mexico.
Yeah,
I'm all in.
And I always love when America like wins something and then all the memes get tweeted out of like an eagle holding like 2 AKs or something like that. And it's George Washington like riding an eagle. They're great.
It's always fun beating teams in soccer because like I feel like this is a fair assessment. Like soccer, especially on a national level, definitely is not a sport that we probably put as much into as we probably should, besides like the World Cup. So I think like people don't care about it as much besides the World Cup, and then that kind of hurts because it's like all these other countries are prepping for it for 4 years, and then we just kind of show up for the World Cup, hope it works out. So it's fun to like I turned it on last night because I just like it was that or a summer league game, and I was just like I can watch summer league the rest of the week. Why not watch U.S. Canada? And it was fun. It was entertaining. Like I heard that we're playing like our C team or something right now. So, but always nice to win in soccer. I was texting some of these guys last night. I was like, I couldn't watch 2 minutes of an EPL game, but if you put U.S.A. jerseys on people, I'm all in. Especially against Canada. I feel like we shouldn't lose to Canada in anything besides hockey. But even that, I want to beat Canada in hockey. So, just fun to beat other countries. I got my big image of the day, fireworks. So
Watch on the YouTube.
yeah, that's plug. Watch on the YouTube. We got fireworks as my background today. But Jackson or Collin, any soccer thoughts?
I'm not a big soccer guy.
Yeah, my big take is the Gold Cup. I thought sounds way more important than it actually was.
It's not. It's essentially it's just made up so that the U.S. can win another Gold Cup. I think we've won like 4 or 5 in a row.
Yeah, I'm not big into soccer, but I thought the Gold Cup sounds like it's got to be the top trophy in all of soccer.
Wait, what? Us winning last night, what does that mean?
We move on.
We're in the semifinals now.
Of what?
The Gold
Cup. That was talking soccer.
Like you said, not a soccer guy.
That was talking soccer. All right.
That was talking soccer.
Do we have anything else before we get into the draft? Anything anyone wants to talk about?
I'm ready for the draft.
Yeah, I'm ready for draft.
Oh, we forgot one thing. Our old boy, Bobby Huggins, Huggy Bear. Apparently, he said he didn't resign. Another big story going on in college. This probably would be like way bigger if it weren't for the Northwestern thing going on, but it kind of got swept under the rug, which is probably nice for West Virginia. They don't really have to deal with stuff as much because this whole Northwestern thing's going on. But apparently, I think it was yesterday, Bob Huggins just said, and his attorney said that he actually didn't resign, even though he like tweeted out a thing about resigning, and it was like very clear and evident that he did resign after the incident from I believe April with the slur and the DUI at the end of May or early June, something like that. So then he decided to resign, but apparently he didn't actually resign, is what he's saying. So who knows who the West Virginia head coach will be in a couple months.
So, if I'm reading this right, he's saying that his wife resigned for him.
I have not read into it. I've just seen like the tweets and stuff. So all I know is that all he said is he didn't resign. So you probably know more than I did. But I do.
I could be entirely wrong, but I felt like I read something where he said his like wife sent the email that like resigned. I don't know.
Yeah, could
be entirely wrong. I don't want to get too far into it if I'm not correct. But yeah, it's a very I did not expect to see that by any means. Where it's because you not often see something like that where it's like, no, I actually didn't resign. I'm going to sue West Virginia.
Especially like 2 or 3 weeks later now. I feel like that would have been something that came out like 2 days after. He's like, oh yeah, wait, exactly. No, like I didn't actually like. Did he just not realize that he resigned for 3 weeks and then was like, hey, no, I actually didn't. Like,
it's a great question, but it's something that I think is going to be very interesting to see how it all unfolds. Because, like you said, who knows who's coaching West Virginia come next season?
Jack, I agree with you, though. I think the Pat Fitzgerald stuff is a big cover-up for Huggins right now. because the Northwestern stuff is a little bit more important at the moment, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
It's affecting so many people.
Yeah, it's definitely nice for the West Virginia PR department and athletic department that they're not at the forefront of college news, college athletics news right now. So it's definitely nice for them that they don't have to probably deal with as much national stuff as they would be in another, like in any other instance, or if this would have happened at any other time. Jackson, any thoughts?
Not really on this. I'm not really familiar with the I didn't even realize till today that he had like resigned his resignation.
He resigned the resignation.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely gonna be another interesting situation to play out in college athletics. I don't feel like anyone really has any clue of what's going on there. Uh, like we've said, the Northwestern stuff definitely helps cover this up and kind of like I feel like no one really knows what's going on. So now West Virginia can kind of internally figure it out. Like, hey, like you did resign, like you're gone, or dish out a lot of money, or Bob Huggins is somehow. I feel like that's the least likely scenario is that Bob Huggins is the coach next year. But
That was going to be my question. What are the chances that he coaches another basketball game or West Virginia game?
I'd say another West Virginia game is about. Honestly, it's West Virginia. Like Huggins is like God there for what he's done for that program, and getting them back on the map. I know they've had a couple down years, but he's also like legitimately he's one of the better coaches in college basketball. When you look at it all time, like he's like up there in the most active wins. He might be at most active wins now with Boeheim retired. Well, now he's not active anymore, but you could have been at highest active wins or somewhere in the top 5 or something. But like the big thing for him, looking at like a legacy standpoint, he never won a championship, which hurts him. But still one of the best coaches. So I feel like West Virginia might like cave into it or something. Well, I mean, we'll just see what's going on. It's like not to the same like not with the same details and stuff, but kind of like a Bob Knight situation a little bit where I feel like Huggins has more power there than like the AD does, in a sense where like Huggins can be like, yeah, I didn't resign, and the AD's like scared of him or something, and is like, yeah, my bad, you didn't resign. And now he's coaching next year. I put it like a max like 5% chance though. I feel like this is just honestly him saying that I feel like is even worse for him. It's just making him look even crazier and even more out of the loop and uh making him even look more like an old man yelling at the clouds or something. So
Do you
I
think
don't
this
know.
makes it where he's coaches his final game? Or does he move on to coach it in an Elon like Rick Pitino coming back?
I think that's
Right
up to
on.
him. I think that's up to him, honestly. I think I think there's I mean, we're talking about it with Fitzgerald. I think there's places that will hire him. I mean, like I said, Rick Pitino got hired. But he's getting old. I mean, with all the stuff that's going on, if that doesn't scream that he's kind of old and might be losing the marbles a little bit, I don't know what does. But like it'll be interesting to see if this doesn't work out for him, which I don't think it will. If he does try to coach somewhere else, or if he's kind of like, you know what, I'll just ride into the sunset with what remaining sunset he does have left, ride into the sunset and go into retirement. But I don't know. I think like I said, I think that's up to him if he's coached his last game or not. I think he'll get. I think if he really really wants to, there's a D3 out there that'll hire him just to sell some tickets or something. So I think that's up to him. Any final thoughts on Huggy Bear?
Nope.
All right, should we get into the draft?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Draft today, big 3's draft. famous big threes in sports history. We got 4 people, so we can't flip a coin anymore. Anyone have a random number generator or something?
I can pull one up.
All right. High budget project or production here.
Before I do generate these numbers, I do want to say the graphics and polls from the last draft of all-time college basketball coaches, the Jack and I, they are posted on the Twitter. So go look at the graphics, go vote on the polls, and follow on Twitter.
At the Empty Gym Pod.
Correct. All right, I'm just doing 1 through 4. Who wants what number? Anybody like feeling really particular on one number?
I
We'll
want
let the-
2.
All right.
Which one's 2?
We'll let the guest choose
4.
4.
Okay. Jack, what do you
Adam?
want?
You pick 1 or 3.
I'll take 1.
Take 3.
Do we want to do whoever gets the number to pick the order, or we just want to go?
I think whoever gets, let's say whoever gets picked gets to pick where they are in the order. Because
Okay.
there could be some strategy in this.
And then we'll just go down after that, and we'll just keep generate numbers.
Yeah.
So I'm 1, Jack's 3, Swanson 4, Roach 2. All right. It is 1. I can't wait. But it is 1.
I
Okay.
see.
This is a snake draft, so this is kind of. I'm gonna go 2. I'm gonna go second. The next number is 4.
I'm gonna take the 1 spot. The 2 spot's what I wanted to do, though. I feel like that's a good spot.
We got 2 next.
I want 3.
Okay.
I'll take the wraparound then.
Not a bad spot to be in. I was honestly contemplating taking the 4 spot, but
I feel like there's a pro to every single one of them.
yeah, there's really no incorrect spot to be in.
Yeah. All right. It's draft order. Jackson, Adam, Collin, me. Without further ado, Jackson, lead us off with your number 1 pick.
All right, first overall, I'm gonna take what I think was the first modern today big 3, where 3 guys actually met up in a city, all same class as LeBron, Bosh, and Wade.
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
I think that was definitely, if it wasn't 1, it was 2. I mean, when you say big 3, that's who you think of, honestly. They were the first people to be called the big 3. When all those guys went in summer of 2010, I think that's a pretty good 1-1 pick.
Yeah, I'm also not a big LeBron guy, so it pains me to do it, but I think that was the original big 3. There was big 3s before them, but they were the first big 3.
They were the first to be called it for sure.
Yeah.
Taking my talent to South Beach.
Yep.
Any insight, Roach?
That's the first one I had on my list.
All right, good talk. Adam, pick number 2.
All right. I'm gonna go with Jordan, Pippen, Rodman. My first pick. I just feel like it was before the the big 3 era, maybe I should say, but there's no denying that those 3 together were incredible, to say the least.
Yeah, that's the 2 I was picking between. I wanted the 2 spot so I could have somebody else pick for me, which
That's exactly why I went second. I didn't want to be the first guy who picked it and then let somebody else have it. So yeah, but if you didn't go with LeBron, Bosh, and Wade, that's where I was going to go.
That's if I got picked first, I was gonna pick second as well because I feel like those two top three. That was the one I was kind of talking about. If LeBron, Bosh, and Wade weren't one, that would be 1, 2.
Yeah.
I think you can't go wrong with either one, but I also didn't really want to be the one to pick which one. So, yeah, definitely great draft choice or draft slot selection on that one. I feel like there wasn't a clear 1-1, but I think both these were 1-1 capable, and I definitely would have wanted to had it picked for me instead of have to pick between the two. But Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, 3 championships together. Iconic. Jordan and Pippen 6, but Rodman was there for the last 3. Definitely I feel like the first big, obviously not the first big 3, but and not the first to be called it either because that was LeBron, Bosh, and Wade. But I feel like that's one of the more iconic big 3s, and kind of started that era of not necessarily a super team, but putting 3 guys that really mesh together well on a team that are superstar level.
I think you're exactly right. Great pick by me.
Roach, anything?
I'm ready for my pick.
All right, you want to pick?
Yeah.
What you got, Roach?
Go ahead, man.
Adam's gonna love me here. I'm going with the best college basketball trio of all time. Zion, RJ Barrett, and Cam Reddish.
Love that pick.
That is the way they didn't win a championship is crazy, but that to me in that regular season is the most dominant trio in college basketball ever.
See, I could go on for hours about how we did not win the championship that year, but I'm not going to. It's still to this day. I don't understand how we did not win. We lost to Cassius Winston and Matt McQuaid of all people, who just completely demolished that Duke team, and it was very sad to watch.
Yeah, but the regular season was so impressive.
Yes, it was.
Jackson?
It's a great pick. I like that pick.
Yeah, I thought that was a good pick too. That was the first college basketball. That was actually the first that wasn't NBA that came to my mind.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick. I think if you knew who you were drafting before and after, being me, I think you could have waited and got this in the second round. Because I wasn't gonna pick him because I don't like Duke. But I think it's first round capable. I think it's first round worthy. I mean that like Adam said and Collin said that the fact that they didn't win a title was insane. But the game that sticks out the most in my mind about them was that I think it was Louisville when they were down 22 or something like that late in the second half and came back. That team was just insane. Zion
I think that's
beating.
the best. I think that's the best YouTube video I've ever watched.
Yeah.
Oh, hands down.
I mean,
I think I probably have the most plays of that video on YouTube. If you were to go and see how many times I've watched that video, I'm probably at the top.
I still go number 1 Tavon Austin highlights, but but yeah, I mean that Zion obviously being the headliner of that group, that was just an insane group of freshmen.
I will say the downfall to that pick is none of them really panned out. I guess Barrett's okay, but none of them really panned out as well as we thought they would in the NBA.
Yeah, to this point for sure. I think Barrett and Reddish can kind of, especially Reddish in the spot that he's in, because who just picked him up?
Lakers.
Yeah, I think Reddish with the Lakers can do really well. I think RJ can keep progressing. Zion is just I don't know. I think he's got to get out of New Orleans and get away from the gumbo. But he's he just can't stay on the court right now. But yeah, tough that they haven't really panned out as well as we thought they would. But still a great pick, especially for college. So I got 2 on the wraparound. My first one, think I'm going to go another NBA. I think the NBA category is just loaded. Another NBA, I think I'm going to go Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker.
Had that on my list.
That too. That's a good one.
Anything
Underrated big three, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like they're not talked about as much in the big three discussion, but they're just as good as anyone.
With that one, I thought about if I took it, changing it and making it either Duncan, Popovich, and Parker, or Duncan, Popovich, and Ginobili, trying to put a little twist on it. Yeah, because I think Pop is just as legendary as the three.
That's
players.
True. That's very true. Roach, any comment on that?
No, I had it on my list. It's a good pick. Great pick.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna go with the Hart one. I think I could probably get this later, but I'm also a little worried based on the crowd that I might not. Going hockey. Going Kane, Taves, and Hossa.
See, that's funny you said that because I had Kane, Taves, and Crawford.
I had Kane, Taves, and Keith.
That's what I had too. Is Keith is the third.
Yeah, see, like that's also the thing is that the
Shaw's a
third
good
one
one,
could
too.
be anyone. Kane and Taves are definitely on there, and then I think the third one could have been anyone. I went Hossa because he was another attackman. I thought just like that string of attackmen was just insane. Obviously, I think Hossa only won 2 of the cups. I don't think he was there for 2010, if I remember right. But he was definitely there in 13 and 15. And Kane and Taves are in their own realm in Chicago sports history, just with how great they were. But yeah, Kane, Taves, and Hossa for me.
Great
Off the board. Might
Great.
be the only hockey pick.
Great pick.
Yeah, that was my only one I had for hockey for sure.
Well, I don't know 3 other guys that are on the same team in hockey.
Yeah. All right. Collin, back to you for your second pick.
I'm taking an NFL pick here. I'm going Mahomes, Kelsey, and Tyreek Hill.
That's a good one.
No, that was a good one. I didn't have it slotted second round, but I did think I was going to. I would have took that third, fourth, maybe.
See, I took it because I feel like that's something Adam would take.
See, I thought about it, and I was gonna write down my list, but I feel like it's kind of lost right now. That with Hill being on the Dolphins now, but it is a good pick, and if I needed spots later in the rounds, I was gonna snag that one.
Good pick. Great pick. Together they won at least one. Did they win 2 Super Bowls together?
No, because the Chiefs won it last year, and Hill was on the Dolphins.
And that's only their second championship, right?
Yeah, that's only Mahomes' second.
Yeah.
But we should shout out that 13-second play against Buffalo.
Yeah.
I guess that whole entire last 2 minutes with the bomb to Tyreek Hill, and then just those 3 just completely, not completely ignoring the playbook, but just like, hey, you go here. One of you guys will be open, and Mahomes just be Mahomes.
Yeah. Great pick. Back to Adam. Round 2 pick.
Well, for some reason I did not think I was up, but that's on me. Okay, I'm gonna go.
No. Wait, was that? Yeah.
No, it is. I just totally forgot.
Oh yeah. All right.
I'm gonna go another football trio here, and I'm gonna take Brady, Gronk, and Edelman.
That's a great one.
I feel like this is another one where you can kind of mix and match, but I want Brady, Gronk, and Edelman.
Yeah, I think Brady and Gronk definitely have to be the 2 that are on there. You could probably go maybe like was Welker before Gronk was good.
Yeah, I think.
Looking online, I saw another one with Brady and using Brady, Welker, and Randy Moss.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I had with the Patriots was Brady, Moss, and Welker. But Brady, Gronk, and Edelman is right there too, if not better. I mean, just Brady and Gronk when they were in their prime were insane, and you could really put like any third guy in there. But Edelman is definitely the best one out of that, I feel like. But another great pick. I feel like we got a lot of great picks on the board. Yeah, Jackson, you got the wraparound. You got 2 picks.
All right, so back to me. I'm going to do Steph, Clay, and Draymond. I was thinking either Steph, Clay, and maybe use somebody else, but I thought Draymond, having the 4 championships together, they didn't have like as much of a peak as if you had another guy on there, but I think that those 3, they had the 73 win season together. I think that's a better pick.
Yeah, you can. I had Steph, Clay, and the other guy as well, but I think if you're looking for the peak Warriors big 3, and like I guess in the sense of the whole franchise, it's definitely Steph, Clay, and Draymond. What they've done together is just absurd.
I had that on my list. Yeah.
And then back to me, I'm gonna take the next football one. I'm gonna go Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin, the '90s Cowboys. Like, that was just a elite football team. I think Emmitt Smith up there, like some people say, best running back ever. And then they have championships, and I thought that was my best football one. I thought.
Yeah, Michael Irvin also up there is one of the best receivers of all time. Probably like right behind Jerry Rice. And there's definitely another guy that I'm blanking on that's going to make me mad. But Emmitt Smith up there is one of the best running backs. Michael Irvin up there is one of the best receivers. And Aikman, one of the better quarterbacks in the league, multiple championships. So great pick.
Jack,
Yeah.
are you thinking of Randy Moss?
Yeah, I am thinking of Randy Moss. Yeah. Which I said 2 minutes ago, so I don't know why I blanked on that, but yeah, Aikman, Smith, and Irvin, great pick.
It's a solid one there.
I want to hear Roach's thoughts on the pick, if that's all right, before you go, Adam.
Well, so I saw that one. I thought about it for a second and then quickly declined it because that doesn't sound like something I would pick, but it's a great pick. I like Aikman. I like Emmitt Smith. I don't know who the other guy is, I'm going to be honest, but I like the other 2.
Roach just doesn't think it's going to play well in the graphic for him.
Yeah, that's good, man. Stay true to you.
Yeah.
Good analysis. Yeah.
Just wait till you hear my next 2 picks.
Oh, wow.
Can't
All right.
wait.
Calling a shot. Hopefully he doesn't get taken here because Adam's up next.
No, I'm pretty confident Adam won't take my next pick.
See, the problem with this is there's so many of them to pick. I don't think any of these are bad picks. It's just like I wish I could pick all of them and put them on my list. But this.
Which can I say something quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thoughts on adding a 5th round?
I'd add a 5th round.
Yeah, my board's still deep.
Because I have 3 that I think aren't going to get picked, and I want to say them all.
We'll do 5th picks. Why not? Bonus pick.
All right, we're adding a 5th round mid-draft.
That's good
because I have two heart picks that I really wanted to take, and now I can take the one that I know should be on there as well as my 2 heart picks.
So yeah, that's where I'm gonna go is a heart pick right here, and I feel like this is the best college basketball trio with Christian Laettner, Bobby Hurley, and Grant Hill. I love Zion, RJ, and Reddish, but I feel like there's no denying the greatness that those 3 had.
Right when you said a heart pick, I knew that's what it was going to be.
Yeah, that was.
I just could not let it slide.
That was hard for me not to say first.
When you said that, when you picked your first pick and you said Adam's gonna like this, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
There goes one of my picks. But I'm glad it got back to me. So
I didn't want to pick 2 Duke trios because I thought about picking it as my second one, but
Jackson, any
Yeah,
analysis?
no, that's a good pick. I think Christian Laettner is like one of the most famous college basketball players ever, and the other two also very good players.
All right. Up to Collin now.
he's got a smirk on his face. Can't wait to hear this.
I'm throwing a little twist at you here because they're not technically on the same team. But
So wait.
we
you will understand.
Time out.
We can veto the pick.
Okay.
You will
Need be.
understand.
I also got a couple that might be vetoed, so
You will understand because my pick is Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic.
that was my one that was going to get vetoed.
I'll allow it.
I think I'll veto that.
Yeah, I wasn't going to veto.
I won't be. I thought you were gonna pick like 2 guys who were actually on a team, and then a guy that's like on a different team. But
Well,
I guess there's no teams. So
I was really close earlier to going Derrick Rose, Boozer, and Benny the Bull, but I figured you guys would veto that.
Yeah, I mean it's like as much as we don't really like pay attention to tennis, besides like I watch Wimbledon when it gets to like the semifinals and the finals, just because it's on so early in the morning in the middle of the summer when there's nothing to do. So like I'll watch like maybe even trickle into the quarterfinals, but I feel like every year, like ever since we were born, and that like we can start remembering like tennis, it's always Federer, Nadal, or Djokovic winning like everything. Like you might sprinkle a little Andy Murray in there, but
that's why I didn't know if you guys would allow it because it's not on the same team, but that's the only 3 that anyone knows.
Yeah, and it's all three that people have like. I think all 3 have like been in the GOAT conversation.
Yeah.
And all at the same era of the sport too. It's pretty interesting.
Personally, I was a Nadal guy growing up.
I'm Team Djokovic.
What was that American that was really good?
Andy Roddick.
Roddick. Yeah, I was always a Roddick guy, but if I had to pick one of the top 3, I was a Nadal guy. I like Nadal, but great. I like the pick. Good pick, Roach.
I didn't even think about that pick. That's a good pick. I'm kind of mad I don't have that on the list, but good pick, Colin.
Thank you.
I didn't even think about it.
Good pick. Let's see. I got the wraparound. For my 3rd round pick, I don't believe there's been a baseball one yet, which I'm gonna take. Kind of an old school one, but I'm going the 3 Braves pitchers, the '98 Braves, Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz. 3 Hall of Famers. 3. I think they all won a Cy Young at some point. I could be wrong, but I think they all won a Cy Young at some point. Besides that random Tigers rotation that had like all these good pitchers, like they weren't all in their primes at the same time. This is probably up there as one of the best pitching rotations of all time. 3 Hall of Famers, 3 Cy Young winners in 3 days in a row. Like if you had a series against Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz, if you took 1 out of 3, you were probably pretty happy about it. That's just how good they all were, and all different too a little bit. Maddox never really threw too fast, but he had some filth. The only reason I know that is because he played for the Cubs, and I remember
A little bit of English on the baseball.
Yeah, he was like Kyle Hendricks, but like 8 times better, and just also a Gold Glove winner, Maddox. So I'm a big Maddox guy, but yeah, that's. And
I had it on my list.
I thought we needed a baseball one in there somewhere. So, any thoughts from you guys?
I like that pick.
Yeah, I had that one. That was my top MLB.
Thanks, Collin.
You're welcome.
For my 4th pick, I'm gonna go with another Hart one, and then I think for 5, I'm gonna go with the Hart one too, because I know that one will get back to me. This one I think actually could get picked by someone else. So I'm going to take this fourth. Going Darren Williams, D. Brown, and Luther Head. You know, 39-2. Only lost at Ohio State on a last-second shot by Matt Sylvester. And in the national championship game when James Augustine fouled out in 9 minutes of game time. Probably should be national champions if it weren't for academic ineligibility being overlooked on the case of North Carolina's players, as well as horrendous officiating in that championship game. But probably the best Illinois basketball team of all time. Had to pick them. 3 guys. One of them had a good NBA career with Darren Williams. Also an Olympic gold medal champion, Olympic gold medalist. So I had to go Darren, D, and Luther.
That wasn't on my list, but it's a good pick. I once you said more picks, I knew that it was going to be this one.
Collin?
So I had that, but I was between Darren Williams was a lock, but I was between Luther Head, D. Brown, and then thinking about putting Bruce Weber in it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd put Bruce Weber in there. Seeing how the rest.
Hey, don't hate on my thoughts. I don't hate on yours. Don't hate on mine.
You might not find a bigger Bruce Weber guy out there than me. I went to Illinois basketball camp growing up, and he remembered my name throughout the years, so I am forever indebted to Coach Weber. Every year, him and Coach McLean would say, "Hey, Jack." They remember me from the year before, probably because I was one of the worst kids there. But you know what? I'm the biggest Coach Weber guy there ever was. Huge K-State fan while he was there. Now I'm a huge Big Ten Network fan because he's there. But love Coach Weber. But I think it's hard to take Luther Head out and put Coach Weber in there instead. But just my thoughts. Your thoughts are good too.
Okay.
Jackson, anything on that pick?
Oh, no, I had that on my list again, but yeah, I had it later. Obviously you took it earlier as a homer pick, but I think there's other big threes that are more prevalent maybe.
Fair assessment.
I also would like to say that I did not say I was necessarily going to substitute Bruce Weber in. I thought about it.
All right, appreciate the clarification.
Yeah. All right, I'm ready for my next pick.
I was gonna say you're up.
Baseball, my favorite player of all time, Derek Jeter, A-Rod, and Mariano Rivera.
Great pick.
Thank you.
That was on my list.
No, I like that. I didn't think about going 2 position players and a pitcher. I saw that online and saw that Mark Teixeira was on there too. But no, I definitely like substituting Mariano Rivera.
Mark Teixeira, one of the hardest last names to spell for absolutely no reason.
Yeah.
Great pick, Collin. Great pick.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you.
Let's clap it up for Collin. Great pick. Adam, you are up.
Man, my list is slowly just dwindling. Let's see. I'm gonna go Magic, Kareem, and James Worthy.
Yeah, that's a solid pick.
It's a great pick.
I like the Collin sitting on the board like that.
Great pick. 2 of the all-time greats, and Worthy is right up there by being one of the best players of all time. Not quite in like the top 10 conversation like Magic and Kareem, but he's one of the better players, one of the great players, especially of that era, but even in the whole history of the NBA. Would have been probably a star on any other team, but played as a great third option there and did exceptionally well in that role. Multiple championships between them, which is one of the biggest things, especially for when it's a college Big Three. It's hard to win multiple championships in 4 years, but I think when you're looking at a pro Big Three, multiple championships is a big qualifier for them, and so I think that's a great pick.
Yeah, I thought that was a good pick. I had that on my list.
Jackson, anything from you?
No, I hadn't thought of that one. I like it though. It was a good pick.
Speaking of Jackson, you have your last two picks here.
This one I'm going off script for because I ran out of baseball ones, and I want to don't want to go too heavy NBA. But Yachty, Wainwright, and Pujols.
Yeah, best pick of the draft.
Yep. And a lot of people, you can knock it for having Pujols not being there the whole time, doing the stint with the Angels, but the time they had together, and I thought it won a couple championships. I thought it was good pick.
I was hoping that would get back to me.
I think Wainwright should have retired last year, so they all could have retired together.
I agree, especially after how he's been pitching this year.
Now he's hurt too, isn't he?
Yeah.
The Cardinals pitching is so bad, man.
Yeah.
Gosh. That's a discussion for a later date.
Yeah, great pick. I mean, I grew up hating those three guys, which is a sign of a great Big Three when your rival hates them. So great pick. Last pick.
Yeah, last one. This is another one up for veto, but I think it's a good one since we just said in sports. Shaq, Kenny, and Charles Barkley on the TNT. I think that is the best.
I will allow that pick because I'm so mad at myself I did not think about it, but that's great.
Yeah, that's a lock.
I'll allow it too. Wouldn't matter anyways if I vetoed it because you need two of them, but I wouldn't have vetoed it anyways. That's a great outside the box pick right there.
Yeah, there were some other booths I was thinking about, but I thought that was definitely the best panel.
Yeah, by far funniest halftime analysis studio host, whatever you want to call it, in sports. Not
but
yeah, the analysis is probably not the best at times. Not to say it's not good, like it's fine, but I don't think that's the main point of their show. But they are like, that's the only one where like when I'm watching games in the playoffs or I'm watching the games in the regular season, I'll actually watch the post game show. Is to watch Shaq, Kenny, and Chuck. That's great pick.
I don't think there's a person in the world that does not like that show.
Yeah.
I saw people saying maybe they'll add Jalen Rose to it now that he's out at
No.
I saw there's a bunch of tweets about it. I'm not
coming up there.
Don't ruin something that's great.
The only person that I would feel, I guess there's two people, but one for sure that I could feel like I would enjoy having them on there. Draymond, once he retires, I would love to see Draymond on that show. And the one that you can also throw in there is he's kind of been on there. Same with Draymond. He's been on there a little bit as Dwayne. He's been on there.
What was that last one you said?
Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade, yeah. He could be good. I think they're perfect right now.
Yeah. I agree.
Until one of them retires, don't add anything. Don't change anything. Plus, Ernie is just the perfect one for those three too. Like he just
he's like
wraps
a babysitter.
What? Yeah.
He's like a babysitter.
Yeah.
I love it.
I saw he just got elected in the Sports Broadcasters Hall of Fame. I thought it was cool they had like Charles Barkley tell him on air.
Yeah, that was a really cool moment. Yeah, that's a great pick. One that I didn't even think of, but great outside the box pick.
I'm very mad at not thinking of that.
Yeah. All right, Adam, you are up.
So I got my last three picks here. I have one that I think would be, especially us for one we'll really enjoy. I have one that I will only enjoy, and then I have one that can play well in the graphic. So I'm kind of torn. I got the best of everything here. But I think I'm going to go with the one that I think we'll all like here, and I'm going to go with Matt Forte, Devin Hester, and Brian Urlacher.
That's
If
awesome.
you lived in Illinois growing up, when they played, you had at least one of those guys' jerseys, if not all of them.
Yeah.
Great pick. Had to get the Bears in there somewhere. That's definitely just a heart pick right there too.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. I didn't think any football going both sides of the ball. I didn't think about using guys from the whole team. Just good twist. Because I thought maybe using Julius Peppers and Lance Briggs in Urlacher. Or Peanut Tillman.
Peanut Tillman.
Yeah.
Peanut Tillman's in there, yeah. Right there. Shout out Peanut. But yeah, those Bears teams were awesome growing up.
So fun to watch.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're getting back to it. But
we are.
Good. Yeah. Great pick. All right, Roach. Final pick, third round, or your third pick of the fifth round. Excuse me.
Mine's college football. I got LSU, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson.
Great pick.
That's a great one.
That's one that I didn't even think about, but that's an awesome pick. That Burrow's stats that year are just fucking absurd.
That LSU team was ridiculous. I feel like it just goes under the radar how good they were.
I think so. I think honestly, like COVID happening, like right after they won, kind of ruined, not necessarily ruined the legacy, because like they're still like one of probably, if not one of the greatest teams in all of college football history. Just how dominant they were all the time.
I'd say
And
greatest offense of all college.
Definitely greatest offense of all time. And then just like COVID happening like 2 months later, I feel like everyone just like stopped thinking about it and stopped talking about it, obviously. But like if that didn't happen, I feel like they'd be remembered way more than like they still are a lot, obviously. Like, but I feel like they would be remembered way more if it weren't for that. But they were just absurd. Because like how many yards did Burrow have that year? It was something. He had like 60 touchdowns.
Yeah, that Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase are on the same team in college, and they're top 5 in their positions right now in the NFL, and they're still so young.
Yeah.
And like you'd think if you have the 2 of the top 5 NFL receivers, the quarterback doesn't have to be that good for them to both accelerate. But then Joe Burrow's already had a Super Bowl appearance and multiple AFC championships in the NFL too. So it was all 3 of them equally.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow confirmed his gun.
These were Joe Burrow's stats that year. 76.3% completion, 5,671 yards, 60 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions. So
it's a pretty solid season.
Yeah, like he had 2894 his junior year, and so like let's see, he played 13 games his junior year, had 2894 yards, and then I need to do some quick math.
So he overdoubled it.
5,671 divided by 15 games. He averaged 378 passing yards a game.
Imagine if you had Joe Burrow on your fantasy team when you played at LSU.
Yeah. And then he averaged 4 passing touchdowns a game too. Like I remember in that was it the semifinal, I think, against Oklahoma, when they just like beat the brakes off Oklahoma, and they're up like 49-0 at half, and Jamar Chase had like 6 touchdowns, or Justin Jefferson, one of the two, had like 6 touchdowns, and it was just absurd. But great pick, Collin. Great pick.
Thank you.
All right. To me, for my last pick, I think I lost this draft probably looking at other people's boards. So I'm just going to go with another heart pick. Sticking with college football, I'm going to go Juice Williams, Rashard Mendenhall, and Aurelius Ben. last Rose Bowl Illinois has been to. Obviously, everyone remembers the upset at number 1 Ohio State when Juice Williams held the ball for 8 minutes. 28-21 win at number 1 Ohio State. So going with Juice, Rashard, and Regis Ben.
Good pick.
Yeah, that's a great homer pick. I think that's obviously your number 1 Illinois football. Is there any other like secondary ones you could have subbed before?
Nathan Shieldhouse.
Shieldhouse.
Nathan Shieldhouse.
Red Grange, and then 2 other people.
Yeah, Red Grange, Dick Butkus, Tony Eason. It's up there.
I'm not gonna lie, I think Nathan Shieldhouse and Devin Witherspoon might be the only football players I know.
Who's the second one?
Devin Witherspoon, just because he got drafted 5th overall.
I did have Devin Witherspoon, Sidney Brown, and Quan Martin on my board. Didn't think that was going to get taken. Probably the best secondary Illinois ever had. You can throw Chase Brown, Tommy DeVito, and Isaiah Williams in there with a very, very big number 1, and then 2 solid guys after that. But yeah, I had to put something Illinois football, and that was pretty much one of the only times we've had 3 good players on our team, all on one side of the ball. So had to go with them. All right. Honorable mentions, anyone?
Yeah, let's dump the lists.
I thought one big one was Bird, McHale, and Parrish.
Yeah.
From the Celtics, like that was good. It's just not an interesting pick for the draft.
I know the Celtics one that was missed was Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
I almost picked that one.
That was more of a Fab 4 too. It was tough to kick Rondo off.
And Brian Scalabrine still really Fab 5.
Yeah, I had both those on my list, and I don't know. I just didn't feel like taking them. Probably should have taken one of them instead of taking 2 Illinois ones, but it is what it is.
I had 2 more left. One that I was thinking about with my last pick was Kevin Durant, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Baby Thunder.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to that. The Mama made pizza rolls. That meme is that's just all timer. Then the one that I feel, I don't know, I don't think I'd play well in the graphic, but I would just love to pick this. Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, and Richard Sherman.
That's
a very underrated one.
That's a very underrated one.
I feel like there's better all left on my list, but that was one that I was really wanting to pick.
Going off Roach's tennis one, a golf one maybe. Ricky, JT, and Jordan.
I had that, but I didn't think you'd.
Spring Break 2K16.
Roach, any honorable mentions from you?
That was my honorable mention. That was the only one I had left.
Jackson, you had any left?
I had another obscure one, which is just like a weird fact, was high school pitching staff. Jack Flaherty, Lucas Giolito, and Max Fried were all on the same team the same year.
I forgot about that. That would have been
That's a pretty good team.
Like that, you got a conference thing where you go two games and then you have a reliever. You get to face Giolito and Flaherty to start the game, and then if they have to come out, Max Fried to come close either of them.
Yeah. That I remember seeing that on like whenever 2 of them are playing each other. I feel like they always bring that up, and I always forget about that. I think that's all the ones that I had.
Another one I had was electric NFL offense was when Peyton Manning went to the Broncos, and it was him, Demaryius Thomas, and I thought maybe like Julius Thomas is a third, but I don't know. It wasn't a good big 3.
Yeah.
I feel like we got some good ones out there. I think we
Yeah, I mean there's Nolan Donald, Bradley Getz, and Jarrett Kreider.
always up there.
2018 Potters. Yeah, there's definitely some that we're forgetting. But all right.
Good draft.
Fun draft. Jackson, great having you on.
Oh, thanks for the invite.
Roach, great having you back.
Thanks, Jack.
You're welcome, man. All right, appreciate you guys listening. We'll definitely try to get Jackson on for a couple more drafts too. I feel like when we have more people on the panel for drafts, they're fun. They're more fun. Probably try to get some other interesting guests on the panel for drafts, and then looking to try and get some interviews booked as well. Shout out John Diebler. I text him every day and tell him to come on my podcast, and we're working on it. But yeah, appreciate you guys listening, and check back. Hopefully, we get another one of these out next week. So we'll see you then.
See ya.